5 years ago in 1989, as a real estate professional, he was introduced to the network marketing profession. In his first 24 months, he built a team of over 100,000 people. Today, his team numbers over 500,000 in 52, possibly 53 countries around the world. He is a member of the $20 million club in his company. But more importantly than that, he also is a part of not just building a team, but ensuring that he helps the profession grow and his company within it. He brought a technology to his company that has resulted in over $6 billion in sales for that company. To share what he learned and to give his knowledge and give his passion to others, he has developed audio and video series that have sold literally millions of units over the years. So, ladies and gentlemen, since you've practiced it and instill it in your blood, change your state, get to your feet. Let's give a GoPro welcome and let's show him how we love him. Please bring to the stage your first mentor of the weekend, Mr. Nathan Ricks.
Are you ready? Yes. Okay, that was great. You guys learned fast. Wonderful to be with you tonight. This is going to be a great event. I'm actually flying out tonight after I'm done, and I saw that lineup of speakers. I thought I probably ought to stay. I could learn something here, I'm sure. All these great leaders that are here with you. Anyway, I've never done this before, where I have spoken to an industry group outside of my company. I've always just kind of done my thing for 20 plus years, almost 25 years now, all these different meetings and presentations all over the world, and network marketing has literally changed our lives. It's been an amazing experience to be part of this business, this industry, to meet the people we meet, to see what happens as the industry allows people to become different people, to be changed and to become better, to become something that is close to our potential. So tonight, as we start this, I kind of broke this down into three things. What I'd like to do is I'm going to go ahead, if we can change that one. Next slide. You guys want to run them? Okay, good. I thought I'd do these three things tonight, right here. First of all, just quickly, briefly tell you my story, my experience of how I got into network marketing. That's number one. Number two, we'll talk about what it means to be a network marketing professional, right? We're here to go pro this weekend. And so we're going to talk about what that means. And I'm going to give you maybe some perspectives that are different than what you've heard before. And then number three, talk about where I think the business is going, the future of network marketing. So anyway, let's start off just quickly and tell you just briefly my story. I was recruited by my brother-in-law into my first company at the age of 22. And you might remember a company called the Cambridge Diet. Anybody remember that one? Okay. So, yeah, this thing, here's a little picture right here. I guess we can put that up. Here's a picture of the old cans. I found this on the internet. I just thought, are you kidding me? That's amazing. We got that on the screen there. There we go. Good old Cambridge Diet. This company went from zero to $400 million in 30 months, okay? And then they went from $400 million to zero in about 2 months. And that happened because they got big and successful and rich, and the owners weren't really committed to the business. They thought, this is more money than we'll ever see, and they basically squirreled money away to Switzerland, bankrupted the company, told distributors they weren't going to pay their checks. I mean, they screwed up something that was really pretty amazing, right? And that was my first experience in network marketing. And I thought to myself, as I received a check for about $40,000 in a single month when I was 22 years old, and that was about as much money as my dad had made in a year, working, 40 years for the government. And I just thought, this is unbelievable how this thing works. And then it was gone. And I thought, well, that was fun, but that was kind of stupid. How did that happen? And so the next company, because you're done, and so you think, okay, how am I going to replace that income? You can't very well put an ad in the want ads and say, I need a job, average income $40,000 a month, right? That doesn't work too good. Not too many jobs like that. And so we started looking around and said, okay, we need another company. So we jumped into another company. It's this one right here, California Trim. Okay? This was a little aseptic packaged diet drink. These guys were in California. They raised some money. They started the company. And we started working and building this thing. And people, they loved these drinks. They were chocolate and vanilla. They tasted so incredible, people were actually gaining weight instead of losing weight on this diet. We'd ask people, wow, how many cases did you eat, you know? And they were just sucking these down and pitching the boxes. And we had all kinds of problems, you know. We had problems manufacturing. It was underfunded. Checks got to about $50,000 a month. And all of a sudden the president said, we're not going to pay them. You know, you guys aren't worth $50,000 a month. And so the company obviously went bankrupt within 2 or 3 months after that. And so you learn a bunch of lessons, you know, through these challenges, these failures. After that one, I said, network marketing, great idea, but nobody seems to know how to run the company. Nobody has any integrity, you know. I feel like I can go do my part, but they're not doing their part. And I thought, okay, stupid business, I'll just go do real estate. And so that's what I did. And at least in real estate, I could work and I could depend on me, and I didn't depend on them. And so that's what I was doing when I got recruited the third time. So I got a phone call late one day. I walked into my kitchen after being at my real estate office late, and the phone's ringing. I'm just tired, hungry, just want to eat dinner and relax, but it's my brother-in-law on the end of the phone. This is the exact same brother-in-law that recruited me the first 2 times. So I wasn't too excited to get the third phone call from the same brother-in-law, as you might imagine. And so I listened, and he's telling me how this company is going to go great. Now's the time. And I just said, Craig, thank you for the phone call. I appreciate it. But I'm just not going to do it. Very definite. And he just came back really strong. And he said, what is your problem? And I thought, great, he wants to know my problem. I think I'll tell him. And that's when I said, you know, it may be the greatest thing ever, Craig, but you know what? My problem is I'm really competitive. I said, you've already been doing this 3-4 years. You're 30, 40,000 a month. You're so far ahead of me that even if I, you know, joined today, I'd never catch up to you, and that would drive me crazy the rest of my life. And that's my problem. And he said, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. He said, you know, I'm going to move ahead in this company with or without you. And he said, you know, your real problem is you're in the wrong vehicle. You know, you're out there trading your life away doing this real estate thing, and you're going to have to be on that financial treadmill forever. The second you stop closing deals, showing houses, doing that thing, it's over. He said, I've got a way you can work hard one time. And I think for those of us that are in this industry, if we want to communicate to our prospects, to our family and friends, people we care about, if we want to really connect and communicate, you got to get really clear on what is the kernel, you know, at the very heart of our industry. What is it that we're trying to communicate with people? We're trying to communicate that we have a way, we have a possibility, we have a chance where they can work really hard one time. One time. And if they're successful at doing it, and there's no guarantees they will be, but if they were successful at doing that, then they could get in a place where they would never worry about money for the rest of their lives. Okay? So to me, you know, that's the kernel. That's what I've got to communicate, and that's what he communicated to me. And I don't know if it was just that I hoped that was true or, you know, wanted it to be true or whatever, but I finally put my defenses down and started to listen. And I'm glad he was tough on me, because I'm kind of a hard case, you know. And if somebody tried to recruit me who wasn't that strong, I probably wouldn't be standing here right now. I'd probably still be doing real estate or something else. And so the moral of the story is third time was the charm, and these things have to happen, okay? My mother-in-law, Clara McDermott, said this, 30 years ago. And when we joined this current company we're with, she said, just do 3 things. Just do these 3 things. That's all you got to do. Give us quality products, give us accurate records, and give us checks on time that clear the bank. That's all we want, okay? Just do that. Just focus on that. And if companies were to just focus on those 3 things, and that's all they did, and they got really good at doing those 3 things, we can do the rest, can't we? Can't we? Yes, we can. We can do all the rest. If they do anything more than that, it's icing on the cake, okay? The reason companies don't make it is they don't do these three things very good. And when the distributors know what their role is, and the company knows what their role is, then it works pretty good. And my experience has been when the company tries to do the distributor's job, it doesn't work very good, okay? If the distributor's trying to do a company job, it doesn't work very good. So if we can just get those three things in the minds of the companies that we're investing our time with, then it's going to be a fantastic thing. So let's go to number 2. What does it mean to be a network marketing professional? You know, that's what this organization's all about. I mean, I take my hat off to Eric for kind of pulling people together and saying, hey, the industry is in a place where it's maturing, and it's time that we pull people together. We learn from each other. And let's give Eric a big hand. This is a big job. Put this all together. Thank you, Eric. What it means to me when I think about a network marketing professional, I think about these particular, principles, okay? I think about honesty. I think about integrity. I think about accountability. I think about real commitment. And I think about being a finisher. Those are the things that I think about when I think about being a network marketing professional. I think back 25 years ago, almost 30 years ago now, when I was recruited into that first company. It was a little bit of kind of a shyster industry, a little bit of the dripping with gold, people with their shirts unbuttoned down to their navels and gold chains, and every finger had a ring, and it was just a little slippery. And I remember when I was being recruited, I thought to myself, I don't know if I fit in to this crowd, I'm kind of a college-educated, corporate kind of guy. And for me, I said to myself, I can see the power to it. And if somebody could figure out how to run these companies and we could make it professional, where we could attract professionals who get pushed down this path of get a good, education, get good grades, get recruited, go work for a big company, just get on the track. If we could give people a view where they could see this as an alternative, we could attract some really great people. And so in my mind, I thought we've got to change the perception. And I remember the first, probably 10 to 15 years, every time I did a presentation, I was in a suit. And I did it, because I was young and I wanted people to think I was older than I was, and 2, because I thought it's got to be more professional. And over time, we started to see these kind of people start to join the business. When I started, and even today, I say to myself, what are the worst things people say about network marketing? Okay, well, here's some of them right here. People will say, oh, that's one of those get-rich-quick schemes, People are just greedy. They're kind of greedy people that get involved in that. They're not really willing to work. They think it's like winning the lottery. They're going to sponsor just the right kind of people. It's just going to take off, and they're going to be rich. Take advantage of other people. You guys just take advantage of people. That's what you do. You prey on their dreams and their hopes, and you try to put them in the business, and you maybe tell them it's going to be easier than it is, and so forth. And we don't tell them the truth about it, and people have had that happen to them, right? All of these things that people say are responses because something happened to them at some time. Network marketing today, in my experience in North America, is not like it was 25, 30 years ago. Today, most people have been approached by a company, or they've been in 2 or 3 or 4 companies. And so it's not like it's just this new thing. They've had some kind of experience with it. Unfortunately, many times that experience hasn't been really good. It hasn't been great at all in some cases. And so they have these concerns. Number 3, put them back up there. These are flaky people. They just don't stick with it. They've been called enough that they expect that you're going to be gone in 2 weeks, just like everybody else who's called them about whatever it was. And so they don't see you sticking around and being consistent, right? And a lot of times we think it's just going to be this hurry up, this breathless recruiting game, and we're in this big hurry, and we stop, and we don't really stop and try to understand the people and understand that it's about building a relationship with people. And if you're really committed to your company, you're really going to do it no matter what. It doesn't matter if they say yes or no, because they may say yes in 6 months, and you may call them 6 months after that, or 6 months after that, and 6 months after that. Some of the best people that I've recruited took me 5 years. 5 years. Making a friendship, putting people in my world and around me and doing things with me and with their families and getting to the place where they really trusted me. I recruited one guy named Lon Wardrop. It took me 5 years, and I've made over $10 million from that one organization in the last 10 years, right? Was that worth it? Was it worth it for 5 years? And what if he would have told me no and I was offended and said, "Phew, scratch that name off"? That would have been a big mistake, right? Overpriced products, that's another thing. You know, you guys just sell products that are overpriced. I can find something else that, you know, similar and it's a lot less money and I can buy it down at the store, and you guys have to do that so you can pay all those multi-level commissions. You ever heard that one before? Yeah, we hear that all the time, don't we? And that happens because some companies sell products that don't have any real value. You know, there's nothing really about them that delivers any real value. There's no real reason for them to exist in the market. You have to have a reason to exist in the market. It's a big world out there. People are smart, you know, they're informed, the internet's out there. And so you have to have real value when you do that. And the list could go on and on. Everybody here, you guys are all professionals in this, so you could put up another 15 or 20 of these things. Well, wouldn't it be great if people said something like this? Okay? Yes. If they would say to you, "I wish I had done something like this earlier in my career." I've had a lot of people say that to me. You know, "I can see what you've done now, Nathan, but I'm old, you know. I mean, I'm probably too old to do this now. I wish I would have done that, you know, 10 years ago, 15 years ago," right? Yeah. Anybody who could come and live my life, I promise you they would say, "Wow, I wish I would have done what you did." I promise you, right? Or, "Wow, you know, you're involved with X company. That's impressive." How would that be if the day comes when network marketing companies are big, powerful, successful, and people know the companies by name just like they would know Apple or Procter & Gamble or any other, and they would say, "Wow, you're a top leader in that company? Impressive, you know. You must have been lucky." Huh, wrong. Luck doesn't have that much to do with it, in my experience, right? Or they would say something like this: "I wish I had control of my life and my time like you do." What's the ultimate luxury? Time. You can lose houses, cars, money. You can get them all back, right? But once you lose time, it's gone forever. You can never get it back. So time is the ultimate luxury. It's the most valuable commodity. We don't have any time to waste to do anything. There's too many great things to do in this world to waste any time. Or how about people say, "You are the luckiest person in the world to have the career you have"? I've had a lot of people tell me that over the years. They may not be willing to pay the price, but I've had a lot of people say that. Or finally, if somebody could say, "I wish I could control my destiny, my own destiny, and chart my own course." How many people do you know that feel like they have no control over their future, over the outcome of their working career or their lives? You know, the world is full of people that have this hidden stress, and yet they don't know what else to do, and they don't know what else is better out there or how they would do it. So, if we're going to change the network marketing paradigm, it requires us to change. Okay, you may think, you know, companies drive this industry. Nope, the time is now here when network marketing leaders drive the industry. It's up to us to set the pace. It's up to us to make things different, okay? And so, this weekend while you're here, think about that. You know, the bad actors in this industry will be gone because people are getting more educated. They're getting wiser to what has to happen to make these companies work, okay? And you can vote with your feet. You can leave, right? You can go to the companies that are really committed to make this industry what it really can be, because it can be something dramatically bigger and better than it is right now. And so my question, I think, for all of us, and I include myself in these comments tonight, I'm just going to speak from my heart, okay? It's all I know how to do, and I'm just going to apologize in advance if I offend anybody. I'm going to be fairly direct as I go through this, and I'm speaking to me as much as I'm speaking to you. I am by no means any perfect person, okay? But I'm trying to be better all the time, and I think that's incumbent upon all of us. Eric stood on the stage a moment ago, and he said, "I feel a big responsibility to put this together." I feel the same responsibility tonight. I mean, there's thousands of hours of time sitting in this room. You've come here to learn something of value this weekend. I want you to know I feel that pressure. I feel that responsibility. I want to say some things in the next few minutes that'll hopefully make a difference so that we change collectively. As we change as leaders and we get better in this industry, then things are going to happen. Okay? It's going to change. It's going to elevate the industry. What does honesty really mean? I tell you what, this is a tough one. It is hard to be completely honest in everything you do. You know, it's hard to not, sometimes even innocently mislead people. I mean, my great example of honesty in my life is my father. And my father worked for the county government in our city. And he had a county car. And the county paid the gas for that car and the mileage, right? And I remember, even with my mother, she would say, I need to go downtown close to where you're going, I'll just ride with you. And he would get to a point where in his mind, he would say, this is as far as I can justify driving. I'm going to need to turn this corner, and I'm going to need you to walk those last 2 blocks because I can't spend their money. Now, that may seem really extreme to most of you in the room. It seems extreme to me, okay? I think I'd drop my wife off on the corner and pay a little money or something. But he was always like that. He was this incredible example of 100% honesty. And so that is something that if you're going to build relationships in this business, then you have to be completely honest. You cannot lie, okay? Write this down. The truth is always good enough. It's always good enough, okay? You don't have to lie about your company, about the sales, about your bonus check. You don't have to lie about anything. Because if you're going to develop a relationship with people where they're going to give you their time, that's what we're asking for, isn't it? When we go out and recruit people, we're not asking them to buy a product. That's easy. People can say, well, you're just asking for my money then. You're just selling me a product. We're asking them for their time. That's a much more significant commitment than just asking people for money. We're saying, come lock arms with me and let's go build something. And it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take us years to really build something substantial. And so we have to be honest. The truth is always good enough. How about integrity? What does it mean to have, complete integrity? It means that your public life and your private life are congruent. They're not these compartmentalized things. We don't act one way in front of the audience, and then we act another way in private. Okay? If you're doing that and you've got this bifurcated life, then that's eventually going to show up someplace. And that becomes this chink in your armor that people start to notice that. Okay? And I'm not saying you got to be perfect. Nobody's perfect, okay? We all make mistakes. Everybody does. I've made plenty in my life. I'll make more, I'm sure. But what we do is we try to bring the private and our public lives into congruity. And if we can do that and we bring those together, then we are who we are. What you see is what you get. And it's good enough, right? Because then you're real. Then people can really know you. Then they can have a relationship with you. Then they can trust you because they know who you really are, okay? Integrity is what happens when nobody's looking or we think nobody will ever find out, okay? What happens in Vegas definitely does not stay in Vegas, okay? Anonymity, if you think it's going to be hidden or something like that, that's fine. It doesn't matter because you know. You know what happened. If nobody else knows, you know, okay? And so that starts to erode your integrity. And what you want to do is have integrity. Decide the principles that you're going to live your life by and then do it. And that's the key to it. Okay, accountability. People all the time try to blame other people for their failures, okay? When you accept full responsibility for your own failures, then you'll start to make progress. That's called accountability. We're accountable to each other, to our downlines, to our uplines. We're accountable to our spouses, to our children, to our parents, to our siblings. We're accountable to all the people in our lives for the things that they expect us to do or things that we've said we'll do. And so accountability becomes critical. In my book, these three: honesty, integrity, accountability. And I expect that of the company. You know, I expect the company of all. They've got to exhibit those things. And if they do, then we have a real foundation that we can actually build something on. And if we don't have that, then we really can't. Commitment. You know, we talk about being committed to things. And I'm not sure we understand what that actually means. And I'm gonna come back to that in just a moment. We'll talk about being a finisher in just a moment too. Let's go ahead and talk about personal development for just a moment. So we're all in the game of personal development. I think network marketing is the greatest, human development laboratory known to man. Because in network marketing, we go out and we put ourselves on the line every day. When we're out there in the trenches, we're recruiting, we're actually doing, the day-to-day of this business. I mean, that's where the rubber meets the road, right? I mean, that's it. And that's what everybody in our teams and what we have to do is be recruiting all the time, talking to new people all the time. That's our business. Anything else we're doing, we're not really doing the business. And so we've got to be focused on talking to new people. That's our thing that we've got to do. When we do that, we change, we grow, we hold ourselves accountable, okay? We get better at prospecting. We get better at our confidence. Our confidence level goes up. We start to believe. We exercise more faith in the outcomes that we're seeking for ourselves and for the people we're recruiting. We change. We discipline ourselves. We focus. We become better, okay? So to say I'm going to develop myself personally without any morality attached to it, if our personal and private lives are incongruent, that's an oxymoron. It's not going to happen, okay? Honesty, integrity, accountability, having this foundation in our lives is the base we can build off of, or we can change. We can become better, okay? We can become the examples that we need to become. To think otherwise is fooling yourself. All of your happiness in your life, all of the real accomplishments in your life will be based on that kind of a foundation. Anything else is frivolous. I mean, those are the parts of network marketing that I detest. I can't stand the get-rich-quick garbage. I can't stand all the partying that goes on. I can't stand all the baloney that takes place. That stuff, to me, those kinds of people, they will not last. I've seen them come and go. So many, thousands, okay? I'm looking for people that want to really become great people, that want to build on a solid foundation, that want to go out there and be an example for their teams, build real businesses that can change their lives forever, okay? And that's the responsibility we hold, okay? That's what has to happen. We have to check our ego at the door and always focus on them, not on us. A great person I know, the founder of our company, said this. He says it every time he speaks. Don't sponsor unpleasant people. Don't sponsor dishonest people. We don't need them. Let them go someplace else, right? This is a business you get to pick who you want to work with. When you work at a company, they tell you who to work with. But here, you get a pick. So don't sponsor dishonest people, right? Sponsor people that have this basis, this character, this integrity, this foundation that you can build on. And then something great will happen there. Okay. Let's do the next one. Okay. So I think we got a little messed up there on the slides, but let's do this. What is a network marketing pro? A network marketing pro will always act with integrity. Okay? A network marketing pro, yes. A network marketing pro will not lie. The truth is good enough. A network marketing pro will not fake it till they make it. How do you have a relationship of trust with anybody who's trying to fake it till they make it? You don't need to do that. People don't believe that stuff anyway. And if you tell people the truth, about where you're at and what you're doing and where you're going in your business, that truth is good enough because now you've told the truth. And now they can trust you. They can sense that, and they can have a relationship with you. I'm sorry, you can't catch the slides? Oh, the slides move too fast. Okay, so backstage, folks, what they want you to do is leave the slides on the screen. It seems like you're cutting back to the camera so quick that people aren't able to take the notes. Is that what you're saying? Okay, very good. Thank you for the feedback. All right. All right, a network marketing pro will match energy for energy with their downline. What does that mean? When somebody commits to give you their time, I mean, they're putting their life in your hands, basically. What they have is the time of their life, right? That's their most valuable commodity, is their time in their life. You owe it to them to be there, to support, you know. When I sponsor somebody, I say this to them. I say, look, this is your business. It's not my business, okay? It's your business. I cannot do this for you. I will not build this for you, okay? Don't ever get in that trap where I hear people say it all the time. Just give me your leads. I'll call them. I'll build it for you. That is the biggest bunch of baloney, okay? You don't have time to do that. You will never develop leaders. You'll never develop a network. You'll never grow anything of any real value. They've got to do it, okay? They've got to step up. I cannot do it for you. I will help you do it. I will guide you. I will be there. I'll match you energy for energy. You press on the gas pedal, I'll press on the gas pedal. You let off the gas pedal, I'm going to let off the gas pedal because I have to. Because if you're not engaged, I owe it to the people that are engaged to spend my time with them in their organizations. Okay? And so you've got to be there to match energy for energy with these people. A network marketing pro will lead by example. Okay? What does that mean? An example in all things, especially honesty, integrity, and accountability. You've got to set that pace, right? A true network marketing pro will set the pace for their teams. You will not ask your team to do more than you're willing to do yourself. You'll make more calls than they make. You'll do more three-ways than they do. You do more webinars than they do. You do more meetings than they do. You'll travel more miles than they'll travel. You set the pace, and then they are inspired, right? Because they watch what you're doing and how you're doing it. A true network marketing pro will always put the needs of the team before their own. How many times have you been there and you just think, I can't do one more call? I am so burned out. I cannot do one more call today. And you see who it is. It's ringing on your screen of your phone. And you know you have to pick it up. Okay? They need that right now. They've got somebody on the phone right now, and you've got to talk to them right now, okay? And a true network marketing pro will always paint the vision for the future. They're always putting the future out in front of their people, right? Just keep pressing forward. Keep being that beacon for people. You know, when people lose hope is when they start to give up. And you've got to be that person that shows them that it can be done and that the hope can pay off. Remember, where there is no vision, the people perish, right? They do. Never a truer statement for our industry of network marketing. You've got to paint the vision all the time about where we're going, what we're going to accomplish, and what's going to happen. Okay, let's talk for just a moment about inward versus outward, okay? What does this mean? Why are you in this business? Are you doing this so you can be rich and you can make money and you can have control of your life and your time and freedom and all those things? Is that why you're doing it? I have to admit, when I first started, I thought if I could make $10,000 a month, you know, that would be pretty good. But as you start to get into the business, you very quickly figure out this is not about you. It's about them. It's about your team, right? That's what it's about. And anytime we start to get inward focused is when we start to get the discouragement. It's when we start to slow down in our growth. If you ever start to feel like, oh, I don't know if I want to call these people, I'm afraid to call them because I'm going to get, you know, told no, perhaps. Now you're starting to make yourself the issue. This isn't about you, okay? It's about them. Anytime we start to get inward focused and we start to have kind of those selfish feelings, and I'm going to tell you, it's a selfish feeling for you to feel rejection. For you to sit there and be afraid of rejection is selfish on your part because it's not about you. It's about them. It's about what you have that you can give them that's way better than what they're doing right now themselves, okay? It's a way better option than grinding out their lives in some stupid job somewhere that they have no security, okay? And once you internalize that and you believe that you have that chance, you have that way, that if they work hard one time, it could be over. You know, they could have a totally different life. And as you internalize that, then what happens is you realize it's about them. It's not about you getting told no and feeling bad. Oh, they told me no, and you go suck your thumb and curl up in the fetal position, you know. It's not about that, is it? No, it's not about you. Remember, you are not the opportunity. You're just the messenger. That's all you are, You're just the messenger of the opportunity. You are not the opportunity. Your company's the opportunity. You're the messenger, okay? And your job is to go out and find people that are at 12 o'clock. They're ready, right? They're going to hear it. They're going to understand it because they're ready. They're open. They're looking, and they're going to do something. And somebody's going to find them because they're looking. They're open, and they're going to do something. So anytime you think that, when people start to say, I'm afraid to tell people what my check is, I'm afraid I call this person, they're going to say, so, well, if that's that great, how much you making? You know, what's your check if it's that good? And people get really afraid of that kind of question. You know, like, what do I say? And that's where they lie. That's where they blow it. You don't have to lie. You can say, I have set my goals, and I'm right on track. I actually made money my first month, or I made money my second month, which usually doesn't happen in new businesses for years, okay? I made money my first or second month. I've set my goals, I'm on track, and I'm excited about where I'm going. I'm making progress, okay? That's it. That's all you have to say, okay? And you just say, I'm just going to keep going. I'm just going to keep doing it, okay? There's plenty of proof that it works, all right? Plenty of proof. Whether you actually pull it off yourself or not is not the issue, okay? There's plenty of proof that network marketing works. Whether you can do it or not, I don't know. I don't know if you can pull it off or not. I don't know if you're disciplined enough, you're willing to talk to enough people and do all the things you need to do to make it happen, okay? I don't know if you can do that, but I know that it works. I know it works, okay? And so it's just a matter of plugging in and being consistent, making sure you got a company that's going to go the distance, and you just do it, okay? So think about that. Here's another one to think about. It's faith versus fear. I don't know how you describe this otherwise, but for me, this business is all about having faith. You got to believe in the future, that the future is going to be better than it is today. And if you understand that you cannot have faith and fear in your body at the same time, those two are mutually exclusive. They cannot coexist in your body at the same time. Either you've got faith and you're looking forward and you're outward focused, or you've got fear and you're inward focused and you're concerned about you and your feelings and if you're going to be, rejected, hurt, or not accepted or listened to or whatever it is, okay? So I just remember when I started my business, I had 3 little girls under the age of 5. I just bought a new house. I had a new house payment. And I didn't have very much money in the bank. I had $30,000 in the bank. I needed $5,000 a month to pay my bills. I stopped my real estate business cold turkey, jumped into my network marketing company, and I had 6 months of money. 6 months to make more than $5,000, or I was BK. I was going to go bankrupt, right? So I had to do it. And I remember digging in, and I remember when I would kneel down at night, say my prayers before I go to bed, I would plead with Heavenly Father. I would say, please help me to find the right people. I got to feed these kids, Please help me to find the people that will understand what I'm saying. Help me to say the right words. Help me to understand what I need to do. Please put these people in my path because I got to make it. I got to figure out how to do it. When you're in real need like that, you have pretty earnest prayers, don't you? I mean, I do. And so it's all about faith to me. It's about believing in the future of where you're going. And what is that? I mean, what is the future reality? The future reality is nothing more than what you perceive it to be in your mind. That's why motivation is so important. That's why you need to listen to good material, to good audio tapes, and good CDs and stuff, because it helps you to bolster your belief. It expands your faith in the future about what's possible for you to do. And that's why it's so critical to feed your brain great things. Okay, we got to hurry. I'm going to give you the secret to human development right now. This is the process. These are the 6 steps. And if you will follow these steps, I promise you, you can change yourself to the kind of person that you want to become, and it will work. And here's exactly how the process works, good or bad. Okay, it just depends what you're going to do. It all starts with our thoughts. Okay, what separates human beings from all other forms of animal life? We have the ability to reason, to think, to create the future in our mind before it exists in reality. That's how every great thing is created. Somebody conceives of something that no one else has thought of or conceived of in a particular way, and all of a sudden they have this driving focus to accomplish, to create reality out of that vision that they had about the future. So Most human beings I know squander this in a huge way. This is the one thing you have that no other form of life has, right? And yet, do we sit and even think? It all starts with our thoughts. What are we thinking about every day? Okay? So, your thoughts will lead to words. Okay? If you think something enough, you will eventually verbalize it. You'll say the words. That's what you'll do. And when you say the words enough times, then guess what happens? Eventually you'll act. You'll take action on those words. So you think it, and then you will say it, you'll speak it, and then you will do it. You'll start to take action on it, okay? And when you take action consistently, then what does that become? That becomes a habit, all right? Actions repeated over and over again form themselves into the habits of our lives. And when you repeat these habits, if they are good or bad, they will create your character. This is how people create character, okay? And character fixes your destiny. That's what happens, okay? Do you believe that? It is true, okay? Thoughts lead to words. Words lead to actions. Actions repeated become habits. Habits create our character, and our character fixes our destiny. Okay, what are you going to be remembered for? When it's all done and they come to your funeral, what are people going to say about you? Okay, are they going to say that person was a true leader, that person sacrificed, that person, gave everything, right? They always thought of everybody else before themselves. They served their team. They were a true servant. Okay, that's what it takes. You want to be a great leader in this business? You better be a great servant. You got to be willing to do all those things that other people aren't willing to do. Thoughts and actions either build us up or they destroy us. One or the other. It's as simple as those thoughts in our head. Are you controlling what goes into your head? Are you on purpose feeding your mind great things every day? Okay, now I'll speak to mostly the men in the room, but some women have this problem, and that's pornography. And I'm just going to tell you, if you are doing that, you got to figure out how to stop it. And if you're addicted, fix it, okay? Because it will destroy you, I promise you, okay? You have got to figure out how to put good stuff in your head. There's so many great books to read, great success stories, people that have overcome all odds, okay? Start pumping this stuff into your head. Get inspired. Start to think higher thoughts and better thoughts about these things, right? What is it about habits? Either the best of servants or the worst of masters. It is true. It's one or the other. And it all starts with those thoughts, those words, those actions. They become habits. They can be your best servants. You get the right habits going, and it's almost effortless. You do the right things by habit. You get the wrong ones going, watch out. Really, really tough. Okay, let's finish off commitment really quick here. We're going to run out of time. All right, let's talk about ham and eggs for breakfast. So what does that have to do with commitment? Well, it's simple, right? The chicken's involved, but the pig is committed. You got that one? That's kind of a slow joke. You have to think about that. Yeah. Are you really committed? Are you prepared to give it all? To really do that, okay? How about the hokey pokey? We all know that little song, don't we? You got 1 foot in and 1 foot out and 1 foot in and shake it all about, doing the hokey pokey. That's what people do in our business. They got 1 foot in and 1 foot out. Maybe I'll do it. Maybe I won't. They're playing the hokey pokey, man. Stop that. Jump in with both feet, right? Get going. Get serious about it. How about protection that cheats? What does that mean? I watch this all the time. People, they just want to hold back a little bit. I'll commit like 80%. I'm going to hold that last 20% back so that if I fail, which means when I fail, I can say, I never really gave it everything. I didn't ever really give it everything. I watch people do this in their marriages. People that you want to doom your marriage, just pull back 10%. Don't give it all. Just hold back so when it blows up and go, yeah, I never really gave it everything, so that's my protection. What are you afraid of? Get in the game. Give 100%, right? Make sure that it happens. Who's the most difficult person to recruit? Who's the hardest person to recruit? Yourself. And once you really recruit yourself, it's all downhill from there. When you're really in it, and you say to yourself, I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. I found it. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to get great at it. And when you do that, then all of a sudden things change. Everything changes. And people can hear it in the tone of your voice. They can see it in your eyes. They can feel it in your demeanor. And all of a sudden people start to want to follow you. Nobody wants to follow anybody that doesn't know where they're going. Why should they? They'll be as lost as you are. Right? You got to know exactly where you're going and what you're going to do. All right, let's talk about finishing. It's easy to start anything, isn't it? It's easy to sign up, easy to make this commitment, easy to tell people you'll do this. It's even easy to get married, okay? It's hard to finish. It is hard to finish. You know, you've got to learn to be a finisher. This is the biggest challenge I see in America today. People are too lazy. They got it too easy. Too easy to quit. There's not enough ramifications when they quit. And because they learn this attitude of entitlement or being quitters, then what happens is they cheat themselves. They never really will ever reach their full potential. There'll always be these people that just kind of sift around and are mediocre in all things of their life. They never really will go to the top and really achieve in anything. So think about that, okay? Be careful what you start. Don't make too many commitments. Really think about your commitments before you do it, because you want to make sure you're a finisher. And if you commit to start something, make sure you see it all the way through to the end, right? And don't ever stop doing that. You can do hard things. This is one of the hardest things in life, is to build a huge network. It's hard. It's not easy. It's full of discouragement and rejection and, all kinds of, depression and all kinds of things that happen, okay? It is not an easy thing to do. You've got to learn to love people and be committed to building this kind of a thing. This is a big problem with your kids. I watch so many kids nowadays, they're so good at complaining to mom and dad that it's too hard to do it, or I can't go to practice today, or I can't finish that, or I can't, complete my studies or this. And parents are, poor Johnny, come over here. Let me make you a cripple. Let me just take you out of life and help you to be a quitter. Okay? Suck it up. And tell your kids to suck it up. Okay? And go out there and learn how to be a finisher and make things happen. Okay? Lead and teach by example. You want to teach your kids how to finish? Who do you think they're watching? You. You say, I'm going to quit smoking. Do it. Don't have your kids go, yeah, mom said that 100 times, You say you're going to go do something, you're going to, build this business. Do it. Or do you want to have your kids watch you quit and go from one to the next, the next? It doesn't get any better in the next one, because the problem's not the next one, right? It's you. Problem's you. You got to change. You got to learn how to get focused and get better. If you're a quitter and you've quit a lot of things in your life, decide today that you will not quit anymore. All right? Decide that you will become a finisher and you will make it happen. Every single business I've ever seen is hard. I've never seen an easy business yet, ever. They're all hard, okay? And so you just got to suck it up. You got to make the commitment. You got to say, I'm going to finish. I'm going to go the distance and make it happen. And I take a lot of courage from people that I see around me that are examples of finishers, Think about Steve Jobs. He starts this company. It's a darling in the beginning. They've got the first home computer. He's famous, basically. And then he gets booted out of his own company. Think of the shame. I mean, think about how you wouldn't even want to show your face in Silicon Valley, You had you were like the hottest thing, and now you're nothing. Now you've been kicked out of your own company. Would you have gone off and made another success like he did? And then would you have come back when they asked you to come back? Or would you have said, screw you, I'll show them they were wrong? Or would you have had the humility to say, okay, there's something really there. It is my baby, and I'm going to go finish it. I'm going to finish it, okay? Do you realize that Apple was nothing compared to Microsoft for 30 years? Microsoft was the gorilla, okay? 2007, when Steve Jobs introduced the iPhone, the world changed, okay? And Apple took off, and he finished his job, didn't he? He absolutely did. Today, Apple is twice the size of Microsoft. Twice the size of Microsoft, because he finished. He didn't quit, Somebody forced him out, but he came back and he didn't quit. And so think about that. How about this one? I just go back to Scripture, okay? For which of you, intending to build a tower, sitteth not down first and counteth the cost, whether he have sufficient to finish it? Lest haply, after he hath laid the foundation and is not able to finish it, all that behold it begin to mock him, saying, this man began to build and was not able to finish. People think that about you? Do they watch you and see you not finish? This is all about relationships, folks. The longer you stick with it, the more you go towards finishing your task that you've decided to embark on, the more confidence people have that they need to follow you. It just gets stronger and stronger and better, right? And you know, who's the greatest finisher of all? There is one who at the very end said, it is finished. Okay? So be a finisher. Okay, last point. Why will network marketing continue to grow? Here's why. Around the world, economies have fallen apart. Pension plans are bankrupt. There is a massive need for supplemental income. That will continue to drive people, even in much older ages, into network marketing. Because they're not going to be able to dig ditches at 60 and 70 and 80, and they're going to live a long time, but they can open their mouths and talk and share products and opportunity with people. Number two, the need to be active and engaged. People are going to live a lot longer. Just being involved, being active and engaged and having your mind working is a really important thing. It's social and it's belonging, right? It's a more efficient business model. In this business, nobody gets paid unless they really produce, right? In the corporate world, people get paid all the time without producing. Number four, today the world is a network. The whole world's become a network. The world has come to our business model. That's what's happened. And it's getting stronger and stronger. And that's one reason our future is unbelievably bright. And in this business, rewards equal contribution. In this business, there's no such thing as being overpaid, and there's no such thing as being underpaid. Doesn't exist. You get paid exactly what you've produced in terms of people and network and product volume. Exactly what you're worth. No more, no less. So that's a value judgment right there, okay? And number six, we're going to see unparalleled growth rates. Right now, we're seeing them in this industry right now. And so when you stop and consider the future, okay, just to wrap up the presentation here, we have, since the beginning of this industry, we started around late 50s in this country, only 13 companies have achieved $1 billion in annual revenue. 13. And there have been hundreds of thousands of companies. 13, okay? Anytime you have a new industry, it's like the Wild West. The same thing happened in franchising. You know, 70 years ago, people came up with this idea, well, we could actually franchise. We could create a business model, and then we could, like, franchise that. We could get people to pay us for it, and we could brand this thing, and we could take some of the task away from them and just sell them a little business model, and they could just get into these things, and they can do it and make money. And in the beginning of franchising, it was horrible. People were selling ideas and ripping people off and double selling territories to people and screwing people out of their money. And eventually, regulation came to the industry of franchising. And then we had the monsters born, you know, Subway and McDonald's and all these companies. And franchising is looked on as a completely legitimate industry. It has created lots of millionaires. It's a tremendous new way to distribute product, okay? That same thing, that process is happening with network marketing. The crazy, stupid, Wild West days are going away. And we're seeing companies that have professional management, that understand the power of these business models, that are emerging right now. And we're on the cusp of really changing this whole industry as it matures. That's where we come in as leaders, where we vote with our feet. We make sure that we hold people accountable that run these companies. We make sure that this industry doesn't get tarnished by a few that are bad, the bad apples. And we make sure that it can reach its real potential, because it can be way better. It's more efficient than any other kind of business model. And because it's more efficient, it can actually become better and bigger. It should become bigger and better. We're just beginning to hit our power band in this industry. This industry really is just coming out of its infancy right now. People have really figured out what the models are and how to do it and how to be consumer protective and how to make sure that people see a different view We changed the paradigm of network marketing. The old business models are fading. They don't work anymore, and people know it. Technology is massively on our side in a huge way, like no one could ever have imagined it would be like this. I couldn't imagine when I started doing this 30 years ago that it would be like this, that I could talk to anybody, any place, anytime in the world for free, for as long as I wanted. That didn't exist before when I started in this business. And because of this, the companies now that are the biggest companies, you know, are 12, 13 billion. Those are big companies. But they're really not very big compared to the Apples, you know, and the Microsofts and the Procter & Gambles and the Coca-Colas of the world. We're talking $100 billion companies that have, you know, had a business model they've been working on for 150 years in many cases, right? This business model is relatively new, but it's maturing. And that's why I really believe we're going to see in the future $20 billion companies, $30 billion companies, $40 billion companies in this industry. And if you're lucky enough to learn this industry and be part of it, then your future is going to change. But most importantly, you will affect the lives of literally millions of people in the process of doing that. And it all depends on us. So be a network marketing pro. Thank you very much. Good night.